All right, John, on an extra comfortable Sunday afternoon. Temperature in the mid-50s today as the Dodgers and the Braves play the final game of this 4-game series and the final game of the homestand for L.A. We welcome you inside. Hope you're having a great Sunday wherever you are. Joe Davis, Art Hershiser, David Vassegh with us in just a bit. And in this highly anticipated series, the Braves have owned the Dodgers through 3 games.
They really have. And, you know, people are going to talk about this series, but we're really not going to look back at this series and wonder what happened until we get to the playoffs. If they meet in the playoffs, this will be a big story.
As far as what's happened specifically in these 3 games with the Dodgers falling short, they've had opportunities but have gone 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position.
And when you look at the Dodger offense and you think about what's going on, it's about the swing and miss with runners in scoring position. They're not even giving themselves a chance. The strikeouts at 11 with those 24 at-bats. They need to put the ball in play and capitalize on these opportunities.
Pitching matchup for the final game of this series. Bobby Miller, who debuted against the Braves earlier this summer. Charlie Morton for the Braves, who debuted like 50 years ago.
It is a different type of ages that we're looking at here. Bobby Miller, a very fresh arm, throwing 98. But you know what? On the other side, we have a guy who throws 98 still. And they both spin the ball very well. Bobby Miller's going to need all of his pitches today to get through this very hot Atlanta Brave lineup. And on the other side, Charlie Morton, he is going to throw a lot of spin. It's going to be a lot of curveballs, and the Dodgers, they need to lay off that curveball, build some hitters counts, and then attack the fastball.
39-year-old faced the Dodgers back in May, and they scored 6 runs against him, the most that he's allowed this year. So perhaps that's the path forward today to avoid a 4-game sweep. The Dodgers and the Braves coming up on Sportsnet LA.
At Dodger Stadium. That's Matthew Stafford in the Kershaw jersey throwing out the first pitch. And Nomar, he can still bring it a little bit. I mean, I would hope so.
That was a nice pitch right there. Throws a strike, had a little bit of velocity behind it. Kershaw says, listen, it better be a good throw.
To Kersh. I mean, the Dodgers don't have many receivers, or I should say the Rams don't have many receivers, so maybe Kersh can suit up when the season's over. Look at this. Walker Buehler made a rehab start for AAA Oklahoma City today. Threw 24 pitches, worked 2 perfect innings, retired all 6 batters. He struck out a couple, averaged 94 miles per hour on his fastball, which is not too far off his average of 95 last year. Nomar, he topped out in 96, and he wore number 5 on the mound, your number.
I was just about to say, one, he looks really good. Great choice in numbers right there. The other thing, too, all the other numbers that he had as far as his line today were great. The big real question will be tomorrow, how do you feel the next day?
We'll see how he feels tomorrow. I'm sure we will get an update from Dave Roberts once the team gets to Miami to take on the Marlins. But right now, the Dodgers trying to take care of business and salvage 1 out of 4 in this series. Nomar, it'd be nice to see them have a somewhat happier flight.
Yeah, go out there, play good baseball, get it done.
All right, Freddie Freeman in the 2-hole today for the Dodgers against Charlie Morton and the Braves. Coming up.
Save on the action-packed Nissan lineup today at the Nissan Thrill the Drive sales event. And by Jack in the Box, the double bacon sourdough jack has slice after slice of bacon. Try it at Jack in the Box. Dodgers and Braves ready to play the final game of this 4-game series. And the Braves starting lineup driven by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. You're familiar with it by now. Ronald Acuna Jr. leads off, and then Ozzie Albies and Austin Riley. Matt Olson, the Dodgers have held down in this series. He is hitless over the first 3 games. Marcell Ozuna DHs and bats 5th. Eddie Rosario's in left field hitting 6th, with Travis d'Arnaud back in there catching. Orlando Arcia, last night's hero, and then Michael Harris in center field hitting 9th. The electric performance brought to you by the all-new Nissan Ariya. Bobby Miller in his major league debut faced off with these Braves in Atlanta on May 23rd, gave up just 1 run over 5 innings and became the first Dodger in 7 years to get a win in his debut.
It's exciting to watch him then. It's still exciting to watch him now with the electric stuff that he brings to the game. The pitch mix is exceptional. The velocity is off the charts, and he's learning to use his fastball more and more in better positions.
Well, he against the Braves in that first game, he was really four-seam heavy in the first inning, and then they were on him, scored that run. He adjusted as the outing went on, and it was a sign of things to come.
It really has been. In each and every outing, he's found ways to get people out, to respond to tough outings, to respond to his emotions that can get out of control. He's really growing leaps and bounds in this year, and it couldn't be better timing, because as we get closer to October, he could be a huge piece.
Well, Dodgers starters this weekend have given up 13 runs in the 3 games. Not exactly inspiring a ton of confidence at this stage. And Miller can today say, okay, I got you, and kind of put a team on his back here. Ronald Acuna heads up there to lead things off. A home run in all 3 games. Last night's as impressive of a home run as you're ever going to see. 121 miles per hour off of the bat. Emma Sheehan, we hit it off of, said it sounded like a jet taking off over his head. The hardest hit ball in baseball this year, the hardest hit home run by an Atlanta Brave in the 8 years they've been tracking exit velocities. And so here he is to lead this one off. Miller threw his wind, and off we go with a fastball at 100. Challenges him right away. Strike 1.
He hit that ball like Barry Bonds used to hit them, like Mike Piazza used to hit them. It just was loud and ridiculously far.
And the other thing that makes him like peak Bonds right now that you were pointing out before the game is he's only getting 1 or 2 of those pitches to hit a game, and he is.
Yeah, he's staying disciplined. Almost laughable how disciplined he is, but then what he lets loose when he gets the strike he's looking for, like that right there, that was overly aggressive for him in this series. That was actually, he was semi-fooled, but you still don't get a strike.
Miller delivers 1-2 and a pop up into shallow center field. James Ellman coming on for the first out of the day. Now the defense behind Bobby Miller is presented by Defender, and we take a look at Miguel Rojas at short. Top 5 in the big leagues in defensive runs saved among shortstops.
He is a smooth operator. It's so routine for him to make tough plays even.
So good that even the pros around him marvel at his ability defensively. Ozzie Albies attacks the first pitch, fouls it off. Albies missed a couple weeks with a hamstring injury. Went 0 for 6 in his first game back, but he's got 8 hits in 4 games since then, after he had a 2-hit night last night. Breaking ball into right center field. He's got a base hit and first one of the game for Atlanta.
Well, it's not a 2-strike hit, but it shows their bat-to-ball skills from this lineup. That's a curveball that he's out in front of. It's a good pitch, but he finds a way to put it in play and give him a chance, and finds that outfield grass.
Runner at first for Austin Riley. Back-to-back 2-hit games for Riley to start this series, and then 0 for 4 yesterday. The Braves yesterday had an 0 for 16 stretch going into extra innings before that Orlando Arcia game-winning home run against Alex Vesia. The bullpen, a bright spot for a lot of this series for LA.
Or this homestand, they have been exceptional. I made a comment with you when the lineups came out. I said, don't any of these Atlanta Braves rest? I mean, Sunday day game, they've won 3 already. You think this is the rest day? Not these guys.
Yeah, I think my response to you is literally no.
Yeah.
You've got Acuna, Riley, and Olsen have all started now, all 136 games. Ozzie Albies, who's on first base, had started every game before he tweaked his hamstring 2 weeks ago. And got his first day off. Orlando Arcia's had 1 day off since May. Albies a good lead. Miller's going to check on him. And Freddie Freeman, one of the culture setters when it comes to that. And that still lives on in Atlanta. Miller to Riley with a 1-2. It's a bouncing ball to third for Max Muncy. The second one. Bats to first. In time double play. Riley's saying hang on. Actually, they're going to say, I don't know, Albies is still out there at second, too. So the Braves are convinced that one way or another this inning's continuing.
I think he was safe at first for sure.
I thought so, too.
I wasn't really observing what was going on at second. Just Mookie making the turn.
Yeah, he's out there.
Definitely out there. Whoa, that's
The ruling on
interesting
the field
angle.
is a double play. Atlanta is challenging the out call at first base. The previous play is under review.
Yeah, he's safe.
So this should be overturned pretty quickly.
Sometimes umpires have a tendency to lean into their flight times.
Send that itinerary to New York now. Hey, I messed this one up, but I need you to tell me that real quick.
Yeah, quick.
Because I got 4:30 out of LAX.
I got a guy at LAX.
Oh, you
Checks my
better.
bags quick.
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. Atlanta will retain its challenge.
Okay, so the inning keeps on going. Matt Olson will get a chance here in the first. The Braves have won the first 3 games of this series, even though Olson is 0 for 13 out of the cleanup spot. And 1 for 25 against the Dodgers this year. Miller delivers, and Olson watches a fastball miss away. Braves have won 6 straight, 15 of their last 18, and are trying to sweep a series at Dodger Stadium for the first time since 1994. Final game of that series, you left the game with the lead over Tom Glavine, but the Braves got to the Dodger bullpen and finished off a 3-game sweep in that case. They've never swept 4 here.
You're telling me I could have had one more win?
Yeah.
Oh, my
the
God.
The pen cost you.
Oh, I'm in a bad mood.
I'm sorry to do that. Hey, how about 1988, though?
That's a decent year.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. You back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Bobby not backing down from these Atlanta Braves, who have shown they hit the fastball very well. Pretty much the ego says, not my fastball.
Here comes Miller with a 1-2. Back there with a fastball, fouled back. He's been really tough on left-handed hitters this year. He's going to see 4 of them in the lineup today. Lefty's hitting below 200 against Miller. Riley at first, 2 out, and a 1-2 pitch. Down, throw to second. Riley was taken off. He's out. And the Braves are saying, hang on again. You got this one wrong already. Do they think that they've gotten another wrong? It looked like he was going to beat the throw.
Sure did. Is the pop-up slide make him short of the bag? He's very safe. It's not even close.
The ruling on the field of the runner being out at second base is under review.
Maybe the crew went out last night. The whole first inning is under review.
They're not going to like the verdict. Austin Riley just his 4th stolen base of the year, just his 6th in 5 big league seasons.
Not keeping score in pen and writing it down. Stolen base.
Yeah, I'm with you. Braves going to be 2 for 2 in challenges in this first inning.
Shouldn't have taken that long because the glove does not stay on the leg, so you don't have to sit there and wait to make sure he stays on the bag.
New York probably trying to help their presentation, saying this isn't that obvious. We're going to take some time before overturning the second call. Maybe they want you to look bad.
Yeah.
Helping their friends out.
But they were like, there's already been a review. Let's walk away from the station, get a coffee.
Oh, right. It can't possibly be another one this inning.
You know, this is very odd.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner is out. Atlanta will lose its challenge.
What?
I'll take it. Bye. The Dodgers starting lineup driven by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers, trying to get things going again. Betts and Freeman, then Will Smith and Max Muncy. David Peralta, Jason Hayward, back-to-back 5 and 6. Chris Taylor's in left field. James Outman in center. And Miguel Rojas at short, hitting 9th. Time for the Febreze Fresh Stats. Charlie Morton, 39 years old. He last season said he asked himself, can I still do this? Because last year wasn't great. The answer's been an impressive yes, and it continues an excellent stretch for Charlie Morton, who's second in wins the last 3 years. You go back even farther than that, though. Only Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer have more wins since he turned 33 7 years ago.
He's really only had about a 17-day tough stretch from the middle of July to the first week of August. But after that, right now, he is locked and loaded and throwing great bullets, whether he's spinning it with that sinker that we just saw or his curveball.
2-0 on Betts. This is during this run where he's given up 1 run over his last 24 innings of the pitch breakdown.
Dodgers will need to be patient because the stuff is alive, but he doesn't always throw it for a strike.
3-0.
Very low zone percentage.
You know, the first start of this stretch where he's been dominant, at least in the bottom line, giving up runs, he walked 7 over 5 innings, but 5 scoreless innings. Roxon fires a 3-1. Betts pulls it left side. Riley's got it with a backhand, running throw, 1 away. Freddie Freeman comes up, brings us to the Audi player profile. He's got a 10-game hitting streak going against his old club after he went 1 for 4 yesterday.
Every player seems to have a little extra focus when they go against their old club. They want to perform well. Freddie has not let the emotions get in the way.
And overall, it's a 10-game hitting streak. 385 in that span. And facing a guy in Morton that he has crushed in their previous meetings. 10 for 18, 3 home runs against Charlie Morton. On this 1-0 pitch, a change is in there, 1-1.
As a pitcher, you just go back to the drawing board when somebody owns you. You look at other guys that are getting him out, other areas, and don't think about what your strengths are. You go to the hitter's weakness.
Charlie Morton to Freddie Freeman with a 2-1. Freeman off the hands into center for Michael Harris. And Charlie Morton in his 16th major league season. Started out with 7 below average years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's a much different guy then. They called him Ground Chuck because he was a sinker baller. Just tried to get soft contact, ground balls. Transformed his arm slot, transformed his pitch mix, became a high four-seam guy, started throwing that curveball more, and he says developed more of a killer mentality. And he's gone from those 7 below average years to this 7-year run that we're talking about, where only Cole and Scherzer have more wins. He's been an all-star a couple times. He's won 2 World Series with the Astros and with the Braves in 2021. 1-0 pitch to Will Smith is corked foul, and it's 1-1. He didn't figure that he was going to be able to pitch at this high level this deep into his career. And even coming into this year, he wasn't sure he still had it. Now he's putting together one of his best seasons to this point. He said, gosh, yeah, I came into the year thinking I was going to go home at the end of the year. Now it's like I can't think about that at all. One way or the other, I don't want to think about it because I'm trying to win a World Series. If I'm shutting it down, I don't want to think about that. If I'm going to keep playing, I don't want to think about that. Laser focused on now. Trying to get that third ring. Got a third ball here on Smith.
The thing he does think about is he's got a very young family at home. Kids are reaching an age where they want him to be home, but he's still pitching really well.
Father of 4, Charlie Morton. Deals 3-1, and he's on the outside corner, 3-2.
It leaked back towards the plate, but it never got to the plate. This can't be reviewed.
Payoff. Three-two again. Smith goes up the middle. Base hit center field. And even as Will Smith tries to get back to his first half form, he's finding a way to get on base. That's an 8-game on base streak now for the Dodger catcher.
Had a hit like this last night where you thought that maybe this will get him going. Now he's got 2 of them that are kind of weak ground balls that find a place where he can get to first base.
And he kept alive for Muncy. Homered in the first game of this series. Hitless over the last 2, so 1 for 12 in this series.
He's had some juicy pitches to hit and really left the batter's box frustrated as he starts to run towards first because he's hit some very high pop-ups and some long fly balls that he just barely has missed. So close to being really hot with the long ball in this series.
One from Morton. Spins in there, strike 2. Charlie Morton throws that curveball more than any pitcher in baseball, almost half of the time, and for good reason. The league hitting just 175 against it.
One of the most effective curveballs in the big leagues, and he's always had that pitch, especially in the second half of his career.
A.J. Burnett taught him the grip. The knuckle curve grip.
It's really just where you fold your index finger up and get it as close to the palm of your hand, and so you're just using your middle finger as the leverage point to spin the ball, and getting your index finger out of the way that way makes it a lot easier to spin it.
Bounce it to first. Olson's got it, and we're through with an inning on this Sunday afternoon. Everybody gets a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at Jack in the Box for the purchase of a large drink at LA area restaurants.
It's a tough lineup to strike out. No strikeouts for Bobby Miller in the first inning. Went with a lot of hard stuff. 10 of the 15 pitches he threw were either the four-seam fastball or the sinker. Struggling so far to command his changeup.
And that was the one pitch that he had his last start. Matt Olson was up there in last inning, ended with Austin Riley getting caught trying to steal second. Takes ball 1. Bobby said that he thought against Arizona on Monday his stuff was the worst that it's been all year. And he gave up 4 runs over the first 4 innings, but was able to retire the last 8 batters. And just another one of those steps of him learning and growing and finding something to take from each start. And Dave Roberts was particularly impressed with the way that he dug deep and was able to finish the way he did.
He didn't let the outing spiral out of control, and when it does physically, it usually means that it has spiraled out of control mentally. And Bobby has admitted that that's his biggest challenge, is between the ears right now. He's got to protect his emotions and find that balance between being calm and being energetic and not getting too far off either side.
Off the barrel here. Easy play. Mookie Betts, and Olsen's the first out of the second.
Broke his bat with a breaking ball right there. Got it off the end.
And he'll now face Marcell Ozuna, who over his last 20 games is hitting .451 with 9 home runs, including one in the second game of this series. His 32nd this year. First pitch curveball for a strike. Braves as a team have hit 8 home runs in the 3 games this weekend. On pace to set a franchise and major league record. They already have set the franchise record. On pace to set the major league record for home runs in a season. They've got 10 guys with double-digit home runs. They've got 7 with 20.
It's a very special team that's going to be a challenge for anybody to get through, and they're showing their wares here during this series. The Dodgers have not played their best, but the Braves have sure looked good.
Drilled to left center field. High line drive. Taylor's back off the top of the wall. Ozuna's got a 1-out double and just missed his 33rd home run.
This ball is blistered. Little bit of topspin on it. Releases that top hand on follow through. Boy, it does just miss going out a few feet.
First runner in scoring position for either side, and Eddie Rosario's the hitter. No score, second inning. Down and away with the fastball. Outman, 2 away. Travis d'Arnaud came into this series 2 for his last 30, and then went 2 for 4 with a home run in his first game this weekend on Friday night. And became the 10th Brave to hit 10 home runs this year. Lofts one to left center field. Chris Taylor's there, and Bobby Miller pitches around the Ozuna double.
Fans, join the fight against childhood cancer. We celebrate childhood cancer survivors and recognize all those undergoing treatment. To learn more, go to MLBtogether.com.
Scoreless in this one as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And David Peralta will lead it off. Dodgers came into this series having won 24 of their last 28 games. Now trying to avoid what would be the first 4-game sweep since May of 2018. When the Reds came in here and took 4. Remember that 2018 was 10 games below 500 in late May before rallying to win the division and win the pennant eventually. Strike one on Peralta, who was 8 for 16 with a home run against Ground Chuck, the guy they used to call Ground Chuck.
I love that nickname.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I wonder who came up with it. That's a good one. A lot of crazy ones in baseball, but the ones that stick are always the real good ones like that.
We ought to get you a nickname, buddy.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Maybe a nickname that I actually look like Opie Cunningham.
Okay.
Just make that up.
You don't look like a bulldog?
No, not at all. Chihuahua.
You don't really look like a Chihuahua either. But,
thank you.
Yeah. Peralta stays alive. 2 for 3 with a double yesterday. Lone Dodger that had multiple hits in yesterday's game.
In the playoffs, would you think about bunting? Not with 2 strikes, but with this Braves defense the way it is, boy, anything lightly hit to the right of the pitcher.
Or the left.
Yeah.
Nobody over there with the way they're moved around.
Well, I was thinking as Morton was looking in his right, but yeah, you're right.
Okay.
The left side is just push it over there and don't worry about making it soft or accurate. Just get it firmly over there and it's a hit.
Uses that curveball to get his first strikeout of the game. 1 away in the second, and up comes Jason Hayward. Above 400 on this homestand.
I see those balls just off the plate away from hitters, and I think of Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox getting that strike call back in the 80s.
Extra easy to picture players of the past of these 2 organizations because they've kept the classic uniforms.
Yeah.
It's the same look these 2 teams have had for a long, long time. 1-1 pitch. Hayward lofts a fly ball to right field. Ronald Acuna's coming on, still coming. It's going to drop in front of him. A routine fly ball that falls in. And it is a Sunday afternoon when you'll often see guys not completely read it off of the bat. Had to be the case here, right?
It had to be. This ball is up in the air. Albies comes in, breaks in, so he doesn't get out there. Acuna did not break on time. The glare got him.
So, man aboard for Chris Taylor. 326 with an OPS close to 900 in his last 15 games. On 1-0, Taylor watches ball 2.
One out in the second, 31 pitches already for Charlie Morton. Falling behind a lot of hitters, deep counts.
Wow.
Didn't get the call there.
And their first strike.
Does he stick with the fastball or does he go back to the bender? He's not afraid to throw it in any count.
Fastball 3-2.
Up a tick with the velocity to 95 right there.
That's amazing. Yeah, at the age of 39, he's touched 98 this year as that starts where he's sat 96, 97. Hayward at first, 1 away. And Morton to Taylor with a 3-2 pitch. After a throw over, and they picked him off. Hayward saying, hang on, let's see.
He definitely was leaning. You see the first move towards second. Boy, it looks like he's going for the back corner of that bag. Boy, he looks safe, doesn't he? We got it wrong the last time. I don't know what time zone New York's on, but that East Coast time zone over there, they're just going to take another review.
Los Angeles is challenging the out call at first base. The previous play is under review.
Dan Bellino had his call overturned in the first inning, and he's about to have another one of his calls overturned here. Although we were wrong on the second challenge in that first, so maybe I shouldn't speak so soon.
I'm going to stick with we weren't wrong. New York was.
Okay, I like that a lot better.
I think he's safe, and I think it's by more than a fingernail, so I think the call should be overturned. You know, what's interesting about the pickoff in the 3-2 count, you think the runner's going, is that Jason Heyward had a lead where he was going to go with the jump, not the length of the lead, and that's the reason he could get back. If he takes another quarter step or half step of lead, thinking I want to get not only a good jump but have a good lead, he's out because of the jump. But he stayed with the shorter lead.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner is out. Los Angeles will lose its challenge.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Well, what do we have challenges for if we're going to not use it to get the calls right?
It just seems like they are leaning towards the call on the field no matter what the evidence is.
Right, there's a system in place for that already. It's just don't have replay.
Yeah. Wow. This is kind of the first game we've really run into that, where it's been like pretty obvious that they should be reversed.
So Morton now a strike away from this inning ending. Here's his 3-2 to Taylor, and it is high and tight for ball 4. And the inning continues, but instead of first and second, one away, runner at first, 2 out. Totally get it if you're splitting hairs, right? If like, yeah, there's a chance, but these last 2 that have stood have looked clearly to be overturnable.
I think we build both of those calls, and if there's another review, we're going to be showing those 2 as we go to New York. Because that was, both of them for me were obvious overturns.
Producer Oral over here. Get to work, tape room.
Is it called a tape room now? Still? We're not doing anything on tape, right?
No.
What would it be called? The data room? Storage? The hard drive room.
Taylor has good lead. Careful, Dan.
He's out. Charlie's got some quick feet for a guy pushing 40.
Going to turn 40 in November. Here's 1-1 to Outman. Taylor runs. It's a strike. Throw down off the glove of Arcia into center field. Taylor will stay there. And he has turned into Dodgers' best stolen base guy in this last month or so.
The Dodgers get a man in scoring position here in the second inning. So far in the series, they are 3 for 24 with a man in scoring position with 2 outs. One shot at it right here.
That's Taylor's 15th stolen base this year, his 8th over the last month. 1-2 to Outman. 2-2. Taylor off second as the 2-2 comes home. A check swing and a breaking ball, and the count goes full. This is the kind of situation we were talking about right off of the top today. Dodgers in this series 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position.
Got to be willing to pass the baton here, because Charlie Morton will easily make something look like a strike, end up a ball.
Good take. Baton passed.
Yep.
Back-to-back 2-out walks, and Miguel Rojas will have his opportunity.
Charlie's made his living on making you chase in counts where you think you're going to get a fastball.
Shortstop, number 11, Miguel Rojas.
So 3 straight base runners here at the bottom of the order. And Rojas, who's been one of their hottest hitters, 310 over a 9-game on-base streak, stands in. Taylor at second, Outman at first. Rojas takes strike 1.
Dave Roberts in his media scrum this morning was kind of predicting that Miguel Rojas will have some big hits, some big moments in the postseason.
He said he moves on from a bad day as fast as any player he's been around. Ahead 2-1 with Mookie Betts waiting on deck.
When your career looks like you're going to be a utility guy and be scrounging for at bats and time to come in, and then all of a sudden you're an everyday player, and then you're a veteran leader. He appreciates every single day that he plays in the big leagues, and he has learned to turn the page very quickly.
2 on, 2 out. A 2-1 is fouled off. 2-2. When he was a struggling minor leaguer, because it wasn't like he was tearing it up down there, his goal was to get to the major leagues for one day and to get one hit. He's a year away from reaching 10 years of service time.
That's when you get your gold card. 10 years of service time. It's a celebration in the big leagues.
Ground ball up the middle. Albies is there. Race to second. Won by the Braves. And Orlando Arcia beating Outman to end the inning. Time for the T-Mobile coverage cam. In the 10th inning last night, Orlando Arcia, the game-winning 3-run home run off Alex Vesia. It was the first hit for the Braves since the 4th inning. And it was the difference in the game on his 17th long ball this year. 29-year-old in his 8th season. Career year for him. Came into the year career .240 hitter. He's at .282. And he's hitting for more power than ever before. Miller breaks his bat, bouncing ball to third, and Max Muncy. And Arcia is the first out. Broken a few bats so far.
One on a breaking ball, that one getting in on the knuckles of that bat.
Center fielder number 23, Michael Harris.
Top of the third, no score. Gorgeous day here at Dodger Stadium. Temperature 75 degrees and light blue skies above. First one to Michael Harris in there for a strike.
3 fastballs to start this inning. 2 for strikes. 1 got you that broken bat. Still looking for the feel on that changeup. Emmett Sheehan had a good changeup yesterday. Shelby Miller's changeup was outstanding. It'll be interesting to watch this series, 4 games, and if the Dodgers run into the Braves in the playoffs, they're gathering a lot of information. Bob Guerin was the guest on the pregame show talking about there's a lot of notes being taken by both sides about what's going on here. Individually for each player and how pitchers attack them, and then as a whole group. He specifically mentioned Rosario attempting to steal home.
Two. Got him. Good changeup. Maybe the best one that he's thrown today. And it's his first K.
If it starts like a strike and ends up a strike, you want good action, and that's what he's got on this one. The good movement and change of speeds. Start like a strike, end up a ball. You don't need as much of one or the other, the action or the change in speeds, but that one was really good.
This one is really good. Ronald Acuna, strike 1, fastball. Ronald fly to center his first time. 6 out of 14 in this series. 3 home runs, 6 knocked in.
He's got a few fastballs like that he's offered at and popped up or hit long fly balls, but he's also gotten a couple fastballs where he's deposited them in the stands.
25-year-old in his 6th year in the major leagues. Acuna Fouls this one off, 1-2 from La Sabana, Venezuela. A town of about 5,000 people right on the shore, mostly known for its fishing, but it's a pretty good baseball town too. His dad was a pro, Ronald Acuna Sr. in the Mets organization, made it all the way to AAA. He strikes out here. Miller with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball by Acuna. He's got a 1-2-3 third. Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Carl's Jr. The El Diablo Burger is back. My Rewards members get a single for just $6.66 on the Carl's Jr. app. Scoreless game, bottom three. Mookie Betts in the top of the order here against Charlie Morton. And the Dodgers' first time through against Morton. 2 hits, 2 walks. Nothing to show for it yet. Getting another look at the veteran here, who fires 1-0 and fades it in there for a strike.
A pitcher's duel so far. Charlie Morton with right around 50% strikes. And you compare that to Bobby Miller. We said his weakest pitch for a strike has been his changeup. That's true, because the changeup for Bobby Miller has only been 50%. That's Charlie's overall repertoire. So it's interesting. Bobby's filling the strike zone up at almost an 80% level. And Charlie Morton on the other side, the veteran's only throwing about 50% strikes.
1-2. Well, that's got to give you a little extra something inside, striking out Acuna the way Miller did there, don't it?
Yeah, his fastball, you know, first time around against these Braves, right? It was the fastball he had to get away from. And now he's been owning the Braves with the fastball here today.
Betts digs it out, short left field, and down for a base hit in front of Rosario. And Betts has his first hit since the 2 home runs on Thursday night.
Crouches down into his knees, kind of gets connected to the ground, stays connected down there to be able to reach that breaking ball and put this ball out there for a single. You're pulling off the ball with the front side or coming out of your legs, you're not going to be able to hit that pitch.
Betts is on, Freeman is up, and you figured it'd be a matter of time before Mookie Betts found his way aboard again. This is the first time since mid-July that he'd gone back-to-back games without a hit. Last night struck out 3 times, hadn't struck out 3 times in a game since June.
Mookie might let Freddie hit before he decides he wants to run, but you know he's itching to do something to help the offense.
You sensed last night a little bit of jumpiness, a little bit of trying to make something happen from him?
Yeah, because we saw so much chase from him, and even in his check swings, it looked like he wasn't reading the ball except for just swinging at the ball as soon as it left the pitcher's hand.
And the discipline has been near flawless so consistently this year. Anytime he does go out of the zone or he does look in between, it's like, wait a minute, what?
Exactly.
1-1 to Freeman. This is a good take, but strike called, 1-2.
That wasn't even close to a swing. Some chirping coming from the Dodger dugout. Oh my gosh, the bat didn't even clear the catcher's mask.
Well, he called it a strike. He said it was in the strike zone.
Called it a strike.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And it drew as much frustration as you're ever going to see from Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see Freddie's head turning around to talk to the umpire. He's looking out at Charlie.
Betts aboard to open the inning. Bottom 3, no score. Morton to Freeman with a 2-2 is high. Strike 3.
Wow.
Freddie's argument, he can't have both those.
Exactly. This last one catches the electronic strike zone, but you understand Freddie's frustration after having the one called down and in that was well off the plate. A strike.
Will Smith to the plate. Got a first inning single. He's reached now in 8 consecutive games. Man.
Is it a full moon?
I think it actually is.
I think so. It's a full moon in New York, too.
Wild pitch. Betts into scoring position. Thought about going to third, too.
One of the more exciting wild pitches with the height that it gets. One is really deflected.
Dodger team that is 3 for 25 with runners in scoring position in this series. On a 1-1, Smith lifts the ball to left center field. That is pulled in by Rosario. And Betts is going to get doubled off. Everybody's a little confused what's going on. I don't know if Betts misread it or what, but that'll end the inning.
Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winning quarterback, and World Series champion Clayton Kershaw. Not sure if you've ever heard this before, but they grew up in the same town and they played on the same Pee Wee basketball team. Not sure if you've ever heard that story, but also played in the same Little League team. And when they played football, Kershaw was the offensive lineman for Matthew Stafford. So some breaking news for you guys.
And when Clayton told his football coach that he was going to focus on baseball, coach said, "You're going to regret that."
Oh, boy.
Regret that, buddy. 0-2 on Ozzie Albies.
Yeah. Bad scouting.
Yeah, turned out okay. 2, 3, and 4 against Miller here in the fourth. Albies singled his first time. Bounces this 100-mile-per-hour fastball to first. And Miller gets to the bag for the first out.
Dodger fans, you can now stream Dodger baseball at home or on the go with the Spectrum Sportsnet app. Sportsnet LA is available 24/7 to authenticated subscribers, so download the Spectrum Sportsnet app today.
Austin Riley to the plate. And if Austin wasn't playing baseball, he might be playing football. He was a punter, and had he not signed with the Braves out of high school, he was going to go to Mississippi State to do both. He was going to pitch for the baseball team. He was going to punt for the football team. Would have been following in his dad's footsteps that way, because his dad punted at Mississippi State in the 80s and actually had a couple NFL training camps, and they used to, have their games of catch in the backyard, but they would also have games of punt back and forth through their backyard in Mississippi. And so early on in his time in pro ball, as he's struggling through the minors, as every young hitter does, he had a lot of moments where he thought to himself, I don't know if I chose the right thing. I could be going the punting route. That feels a whole lot better than what I'm doing right now, riding buses and striking out. Ultimately, like Clayton Kershaw, looks like he made the right choice, choosing baseball over football. The two-time All-Star on 2-2 takes outside and the count is full.
So much disappointment and doubt in the minor leagues, whether you're an offensive player or you're a pitcher. Those bad days feel like you are miles from the big leagues.
Flies one to right, Jason Hayward. And Miller's retired 7 in a row.
Number 28, Matt Olson.
2 gone in the 4th. Matt Olson at the plate. Curve falls in there.
Strike zone is not an oval today. It is full corners.
The 1-1. Way outside, ball 2. Final game of this homestand. Dodgers head off to Miami tomorrow. Start a 3-game series on Tuesday. From Miami to D.C. over the weekend. 2-2 on Olson. Today trying to avoid the 4-game sweep. Braves trying to get their first ever sweep at Dodger Stadium. Already the first team in baseball to reach 90 wins. 90-45 for Brian Snitker's club. On this 2-2, Olson pulls it down the line, foul.
See how powerful this offense can be, and it's been without Olson. That's intimidating to think about.
Changeup gets him looking. Out of the 1-2-3 inning for Bobby Miller, and after 3.5, no score.
In attendance on September 12th will receive a Freddie Freeman jersey presented by Bank of America. To purchase tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Bottom of the 4th in a scoreless game. Travis Sarno, the catcher there, asked for time. Actually looked like Acuna and Wright was asking for time, and the home plate umpire noticed it. Now everybody's ready to roll. Muncy grounded out his first time, 1 for 13 in this series. First pitch from Charlie Morton. Tails in for a strike. Almost hit him.
Didn't? Wow. Watch out. Toes. Yeah, gets out of the way. Scoots back just in the nick of time.
Here's 1-1. Muncy takes a little low, ball 2. Peralta and Hayward to follow. The one thing they have done is drive that pitch count up a little bit, close to 20 pitches per inning for Morton, who gets a swing and a miss here, and it's 2-2. In the bullpen, they have used their top guys through the first few games of this series. Good chance you're going to see kind of the underbelly of that bullpen this afternoon. Cracked into right, base hit for Muncy to lead off the 4th.
Maybe this will get something started. I thought they had a spark until Jason Hayward got called out on a pickoff attempt. Can't even call it a pickoff, because on the replay it looked like he was safe. A lot of traffic, but no runs that inning.
One of the 2 strikeouts today for Charlie Morton came against David Peralta. Fouls it off, strike one. One on one.
Offense that's built around Betts and Freeman, but David Peralta has been very clutch off the bench and very productive as a starter. All these veterans that were signed and brought on really turned their careers around and really returned to their prime form. And the main reasons there's such a great culture in the locker room, too.
Slicing fly ball to center field for Michael Harris. Got good shades on for today. Big shades.
It looks like he just had a visit to the eye doctor and they said, you know, wear sunglasses because you're dilated right now. You got to watch it.
Or we're doing dissections today, class.
Oh, yeah. Wear your protective goggles.
They're in these days, though. Jason Hayward, who had a single his first time and is hitting .455 over his last 9 games, serves the first one foul.
A lot of that .455 is not weak contact. He hits the ball hard.
Muncy at first, Hayward at the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes Morton. Hayward reaches out and flies it to right, and Acuna.
They've been attacking Jason with the off-speed stuff, and that's what he has gotten, taking the sting out of that powerful swing.
Two out for Taylor, who drew a full count walk his first time. Stole second, but was stranded there. On the outside corner for a strike. Charlie Morton on his way to a 5th consecutive 30-start campaign when you obviously toss out 2020. Reached his mid-30s when you're supposed to hit your decline, and that's when he took off. So it makes it extra complicated for him as he reaches kind of retirement stage. He's like, man, I'm still doing it. But like you said, the 4 kids at home, that's tugging at him. Here's his 0-2 to Taylor. He struck him out on 3 pitches, and he's got 4 scoreless innings today.
Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Less than 90 minutes away from wherever you are. Good times. And by your Southern California Toyota dealers.
Go on.
Good times.
You did great. Top of the 5th, no score. Bobby Miller goes back to work. Only 2 hits for Atlanta through these 4 innings. Marcell Ozuna hacks one to right field. Jason Hayward to the corner has plenty of room. 1 pitch, 1 out. How about Bobby Miller? We talked about it coming into the game on a weekend where it's been collectively a little worrisome watching the starting pitching. At least the first 2 days of the series, Lynn and then Urias struggled the way they did. Bobby Miller today, though, another example of him asserting himself and saying, look at me, I can be part of this equation in October.
I think this has secured a spot if he just continues to develop as part of the playoff rotation. I mean, Julio, it's a little worrisome. Clayton, of course, if healthy, he is outstanding, and you might think about starting Clayton. You might think about starting Julio if he starts to respond and turn the second half around. You could also think about starting Bobby Miller. You never know.
Eddie Rosario takes ball one.
Lance Lynn has performed very well. I think you keep your fingers crossed that Julio can start a game one. Get it figured out. Clayton could go game two, or you could put a right-hander between the two lefties. I think it'll come down to, the last few starts. They see who's locked and loaded and doing well.
Well, August was really encouraging for the staff as a whole, but then Kershaw did not look as good the other night. You mentioned Urias back-to-back starts where he struggled. In the case of Lynn, it's his first hiccup. It's just everything is magnified. Emotions are heightened. With October getting closer and closer. Fly out to center, 2 gone in the 5th.
Walker Buehler's rehab and seeing how he responds, and can you build him up to go 3 or 4 innings?
David Vassay is going to give us a report on how that rehab start went today for Walker Buehler. Bobby Miller's sat down 10 in a row. Travis d'Arnaud stands in with 2 gone and the bases empty and looks at strike 1. And that fastball command has been dialed the last few innings.
A lot of times with a young pitcher, you don't expect them to be as edgy as Bobby Miller is, but he is very good at hitting the edges of the strike zone. He has the ability to be aggressive near the middle of the strike zone because he has such outstanding stuff with the velocity and the way he can spin a baseball, but he doesn't stop there. He works the edges again right there. That slider at 89 near a corner. And that's what gives me confidence that his strikeout totals are going to start to go up. I mean, he's not a strikeout an inning guy yet. He gets a lot of weak contact, but if he needs a strikeout, he's got the stuff to get it.
Knifed into right center field. James Outman drifting back. He's got it. 9-pitch inning. 11 straight retired by Bobby Miller. Halfway home and no score.
Walker Buehler. Buehler's day off. No day off on Sunday. He made his first rehab start for Oklahoma City since undergoing his second Tommy John surgery. And as you can see, he was perfect. He is eligible to come off the injured list September 18th. His fastball, guys, was clocked somewhere between 94 and 96. And Gavin Stone came in after. So Buehler and Stone combined for 8 scoreless innings and allowed just 1 hit. Good luck.
Pretty good. Encouraging stuff. Walker Buehler and Gavin Stone as well. No score in this one. Bottom of the 5th inning. James Outman. 8-9-1 for LA against Charlie Morton. Hey, you were talking about maybe in the postseason some bunts. James Outman showed bunt there. Something he's been working on extra early. The hours even before team's batting practice. You sometimes find him out there working on his bunting. No balls, 2 strikes.
Working on it before the game is one thing. Executing it in game is another, because you pretty much know what the high velocity machine is going to throw to you, how to position the bat and get ready for the impact, but you don't know what the big league pitcher is going to throw. And if you're looking for a fastball away, there's one approach, and you've got to have an approach that if all of a sudden it's a breaking ball, you know to pull the bat back or don't offer at it and pop it up.
1-2 to Outman. Takes off on Morton. Count evens 2-2. James walked his first time. 1 of 2 issued by Morton. Got a 9-game on base streak snapped yesterday with an 0 for 4, but a new one started here. Another 2-2. Outman takes ball 3. Rojas and Betts to follow. On a payoff. Very high. Second walk for James Outman today.
Charlie Morton now at 81 pitches. He has gone north of 100 quite a few times this year. In August, averaged over 100 pitches an outing.
Leadoff man aboard. Miguel Rojas at the plate. Takes strike 1. Grounded out his first time. Oh, 0-2.
You know, the count doesn't lean towards this, but we saw James attempt a possible bunt. He also might see this combination in the playoffs go hit and run. Go a little old school small ball. Not now with an 0-2 and the 0-1 count, but if they got into 1-0 and 2-0 and 2-1 counts, it's a good combination. Young legs and aggressive legs at first, and a guy with very good bat control at the plate.
Driven to left center field. Way back it goes, and Rojas hits it off the top of the wall. Outman hits third and comes home. Here's the relay to the plate. Not in time. Rojas gallops to third. Dodgers on the board first. It is an RBI double for Miguel Rojas in the 5th inning of the 4th game of this series that gives the Dodgers their first lead since the 1st inning of the 1st game.
In a hit and run situation, you'd want him to hit it on the ground to the opposite field. Well, here he pulls it. This high breaking ball just barely misses getting the home run. James Outman scoots home. Miguel moves up to third on the throwing error.
Infield comes in as Betts takes ball 1. You're saying during Rojas' last at bat, Dave Roberts just before the game today was talking about how he's confident that this man's going to give him some big hits this year. (2-0). A lot easier to believe based on the last month because he's hitting the ball really hard.
Mookie not jumping and getting strikes right here, but still pulling that ball foul shows that he's really in an aggressive mode.
Oh, nice stop there by d'Arnaud to save a run.
A little too much effort in that pitch, and good effort behind the plate.
On a 3-1, Betts bounces one over short and into left field to bring home Rojas. Dodgers lead 2-0 on an RBI single from Mookie Betts.
They leave the tarps on home plate and the pitcher's mound in day games for a long time because they don't want the moisture to evaporate. I don't know if Mookie hit it right off a home plate or just in front of it, but that dirt firms up a lot more in a day game.
So it is 2-0. Charlie Morton had given up 1 run in his last 28 innings coming into this 5th, and he's given up 2 runs over the first 3 hitters here. And Brian Snitker comes out.
They're going to save some bullets for October, possibly.
So that fizzles quickly. Dodgers have a 2-0 lead, and the Braves bullpen goes to work in the 5th. And responsible for the runner at first base. Dylan Lee comes back from the injured list. His first appearance since mid-May. He's been out for 3.5 months with a shoulder issue. And so they get the lefty back to their bullpen. It's a bullpen the Dodgers have gotten to a little bit in this series. 7 runs in 9 innings against Atlanta relievers. Still nobody out in this 5th inning. Freddie Freeman, who is 0 for 2 today. Strike 1.
Freddie hitting from the left side is going to see a lot of sliders that first pitch. About 2 out of 3 pitches against lefties, Lee will throw sliders. Another one there. Tried to sweep it off the plate and did. Freddie has had to clear his mind of the strike zone from at bats prior.
Two and 1. Ball 3. Borderline calls going his way this time. Two in the bank for the Dodgers here in the 5th. Betts at first. 3-1 from Dylan Lee. 3-2.
Lee had a 7-game rehab stint down in AAA and had an ERA over 6 and gave up 3 home runs down there. Welcome back to the big leagues. You get to face Freddie Freeman.
Who is trying to extend a 10-game hitting streak overall and against the Braves. Here comes the 3-2. Ground ball to second. Albies to second 1. Arcia to first 2. Dodgers up 2-0, and with the bases empty, here is Will Smith. Who's extended his on-base streak to 8 games, so the 1-for-2 performance so far.
Time for Will to hit one hard. Start feeling good about his swing and his contact rate.
One and 2.
When Freddie was up there with the 3-2 count, it felt like we were getting really close to a Dodger offense explosion. Just where, you know, the routine that normally has happened during this year, especially when you get Mookie gets his hit on the chopper. It's like a little good fortune. Just a little lull right now for the offense. They've kind of spoiled us, huh, over August.
No doubt.
Averaging 6-7 runs a game.
2 out, 2-2. Down the line, that's a fair ball. Extra bases for Will Smith. His third multi-hit game out of his last 4.
Well, he did hit it hard, and he did get it on the barrel, and he drove it down into that corner. Just stayed with that swing. He understood midway through it. He was making an adjustment on that breaking ball. It didn't let it get all the way down and in, and getting on him about his stiff dancing.
And he kept alive from Muncy, who tries to lay off, but it's called a strike. One on one. One and two.
That's not good.
No.
Just wrenched his shoulder.
Down swinging here. Dodgers get their first lead since the first inning of Game 1. Miguel Rojas with the RBI double. Starting a little party over there. Mookie Betts continued it with an RBI hit of his own, and it's 2-0 after 5. Cranking that shoulder around in some discomfort on the swing. He leaves the game. Kike Hernandez has replaced him at third base. Dodgers 2, Braves nothing. Top of the 6th. Bobby Miller back to the mound to face Orlando Arcia. And he gets the call on a high curveball. Here is the swing that he came up wincing after.
Some acute pain right there. That he didn't drop down to a knee, but he definitely felt something.
Odd to see with his back shoulder if he's cranking the shoulder around like that.
Yeah, it was full extension on that swing. You just hope there's none of the soft tissue damage there, that it was just kind of a little strain. I mean, you can let your mind spin out of control and things that can go wrong with a shoulder.
It's felt like that kind of not just year but last couple years for Muncy, going back to that elbow injury. 2-2 to Arcia in the dirt. 3-2.
It's a rare deep count for Bobby Miller. He's been very efficient today. 5 innings pitched, 61 pitches coming into this inning, averaging only 12 an inning.
Got him. That fastball had teeth.
That'll work. This young man on the mound has gone 6 or more innings in 4 straight starts. The efficiency's gone up. The swing and miss is going up. He has found his off-speed stuff today, and he's had a dynamic fastball.
4 strikeouts. Braves don't have a base runner since the 2nd inning. They only have 2 hits total. Little high with a first pitch fastball to Michael Harris.
It's been the young pitchers that have taken care of the Braves. Sheehan and Miller only given up 1 earned run over their course of work against the Braves, and the 2 veterans, Lance Lynn and Julio Urias, have given up 12 earned runs in their 9 1/3 innings pitched.
Shot down the line, peeling towards the corner. Foul, not by much. 3-1. With Acuna waiting on deck. Miller fires. Harris chops one to second. Mookie Betts waits on it. Triggers it quickly and gets the speedy Harris.
A really nice play, and it just shows Mookie's maturity as far as his baseball clock. I mean, it's a completely different clock, of course, out in right field. But just to come into the infield, fewer and fewer reps, of course, at second base. But boy, he's getting some time there now. And pretty much the everyday second baseman, right?
Yeah, against right-handed pitchers.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Ball on Acuna, who's 0 for 2. Struck out on a fastball swinging his last time. Yeah, and he's one of 13 up, 13 down in this stretch for Bobby Miller, who's 1-0. He's got a swing and a miss. That's a disappearing changeup.
He speeds him up with the fastball and challenges him down the middle with the fastball, and then you throw something down the middle that's not the fastball, but that, yes. Hello. I like that, loosening him up a little bit.
Miller to Acuna with a 2-1. 2-2. Got a fastball by him again.
Doubled up in there. One to back him off, one for a strike.
See what he goes with on 2-2. It is a change, and it's barely tapped foul.
The most awkward swings we've seen from Acuna in the whole series.
Really the only awkward swings.
True.
Another 2-2 coming. Fastball popped down the line. Hayward coming on, still coming, diving grab, but he got it. Jason Hayward the catch, and Bobby Miller 14 straight retired. By BMW, the ultimate driving machine. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. Diving catch from Jason Hayward finishes off another 1-2-3 inning for Bobby Miller, who's not given up a base runner since the second. Brad Hand comes on to pitch for the Braves.
Brad Hand is very good against lefties, so Dave Roberts going to his right-handed bench.
Atlanta got him at the deadline from Colorado. He's going to face a pinch hitter here in Rosario.
Right-handers are hitting over 300 against Hand.
And so it is a righty in Rosario, as opposed to the lefty Peralta, who was in this spot in the order. A DH today, so an easy change here, not having to think about the defense. Rosario, who had a couple hits in his last start on Friday night. A walk off of the bench last night. Outside, ball 2. And still trying to find it in a Braves uniform. 9 games, giving up 6 runs in those 9 innings of work. And he's behind Rosario, 3 balls, 1 strike. 13 years he's been a big leaguer, been an all-star 3 times. There were a few trade deadlines where he was the key guy in the relief market. Crank to left center field. That'll split the gap. Leadoff double, Amed Rosario.
Brad Hand started him off with 3 breaking balls, then fell behind and had to start coming with the heater. Rosario picks on this one right there in the middle of the plate and does not miss it. An aggressive line drive swing that does find that gap. Dodgers setting the table again.
Leading 2-0, looking for more here in the 6th. Yeah, Jason Hayward, after that great catch last inning, stays in, faces a lefty here. Shows bunt, and it's foul. Jason Hayward's last sacrifice bunt was 5 years ago. No 2. There's 1 out of 16 sorry roll against left-handed pitchers this year. And delivers. Grounded to first. That's as good as a bunt. It'll move the man up to third.
Yeah, he picked a much tougher pitch to do it on. The breaking ball before this pitch was the one. It stayed on the inner half and he could have really laid into it, but this one low and away did a nice job rolling over it to move the runner up.
Dodgers 2, Braves nothing. Rosario's at third, 1 away, and here's Chris Taylor. Walk in the 2nd, strikeout in the 4th. Infield drawn in for Brian Snitker. Dodgers beat it drawn in infield in the 2-run 5th inning. Mookie Betts bounced the ball right over the shortstop Arcia. Right at Arcia this time. Throws to first in time. Picked by Olsen.
Speed and velocity everywhere on this play. Velocity of the ball off the bat. Arcia finding it so quickly, and then Chris Taylor with his speed down the line makes it very close. They still got him.
Two out, up to Outman, who has walked both times today. It's 5 walks in this series. Out an 0-1 from Hand. Outman takes away, and it's 1-1. Dodger bullpen is quiet. Bobby Miller has been rolling along. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Braves in the 7th. On a 2-1. Outman fouls it into the glove. We're on a 1-1, beg your pardon. Now 1-2. Leadoff double for Rosario. And trying to pitch around it. 1-2. Perfect pitch. Hand gets around the leadoff double. So we go inside the box score, brought to you by your Lexus dealers. Debuted against the Braves back in June and beat them, and he has rolled today, retiring 14 in a row. 2, 3, and 4 coming up in a 2-0 game, and Ozzie Albies just misses, snapping that string right there. Sure has been impressive.
He really has. And we see the growth as far as the physical actions out there, but I think what Dodger management will tell you, Dave Roberts, the pitching coaches, they'll tell you that there's a lot of growth going on in his head. That he is a hard worker and a studier and a listener. And not afraid to admit where he needs to improve.
Oh, 2. Strikes out. Albies on 3 pitches.
Off-speed pitch that gets him, but it has been the foundational pitch, the hard stuff today. The fastball and the sinker that the Braves are 0 for 6 against the 4-seamer and 0 for 3 against the sinker.
5 Ks halfway to Jumbo Jacks. Austin Riley. Ground ball to short. Easy one for Rojas. 2 up, 2 down. 16 up, 16 down for Miller. You're talking about what a good listener he is. It's obviously been the case for him with having Clayton Kershaw around all year, but he's gotten really close very quickly to Lance Lynn and has leaned on him for advice. Both those guys from the Midwest. Bobby out of the Chicago area, Lance from Indy. Fastball flamed in there for a strike on Olsen.
If you want to gain confidence in your fastball, you just watch Lance Lynn and listen to him talk about fastball.
High drive, deep right field. That is going to leave the yard, and a major league leading 44th home run for Matt Olson. His first hit of this series has Atlanta on the board, 2-1.
Changeup that's up. It's been an outstanding pitch for him once he found the feel for it today, but this one just kind of lays there in the middle, doesn't have the same action. Olsen right now, because he's slumping, probably not quite as aggressive with the bat speed, so he just laid the head of the bat on that one and got it.
Breaking pitch, ball 1 on Ozuna. Braves back to within 1 on their 9th home run of this series. Orlando Arce releasing some tension from Olsen there. This is his longest homerless drought of the year. First one since August 14th. Just like that, Braves a swing away. 1-2 on Ozuna. Miller fires. 2-2.
Ozuna's not going to have a 2-strike approach. I like the breaking ball in the dirt there. Just make it look like a strike a little bit longer.
No swing, count is full. Payoff pitch.
Went back to the changeup there. That one at 88, you could see it was elevated, and when it's up like that, about thigh high, doesn't have the same movement. 90 pitches into the outing, just looking for one good one right here. One more good one.
Tries it again, and it's pushed foul. Trying to finish off 7 innings for the first time. This is the deepest he's ever gone already. Twice he had pitched into the 7th, but he's never finished a 7th. His 8th pitch to Ozuna is taken for ball 4. First walk of the day taken by the Braves. Tying run is aboard, and the go-ahead run comes up in the form of Eddie Rosario, and here comes Mark Pryor.
I think there'll be some action in the Dodger bullpen now. You'd love to get the youngster up the tunnel today with a lead and feeling really good about dominating this Atlanta Braves team. That experience would really feed him for the playoffs. There's no action now, but it doesn't mean that this won't be his last inning.
Within 3 innings of his total from last year. Dodgers, though, have used the eye test and said this guy looks as strong as he has all year, as strong as we could have imagined him looking at this stage, and they need him.
They really do need him. I mean, this is a Walker Buehler type quality stuff that you could all of a sudden lean on him and he could be a big factor.
Tying run at first. Rosario at the plate, always aggressive. Strike one.
Strength against strength. Left-handed hitters have a tendency to be good low ball hitters. They attacked right there.
Strike two. Miller deals. Rosario stays alive. As it stands right now with the 2 runs of support in the 5th inning, that home run from Olsen, a minor blemish on an impressive day for Miller.
If you're going to give up a home run in this lineup, you've got to give it up to the right guy. One that hits a lot of them.
Here's another 0-2. It's a ground ball to second and an easy play for Mookie Betts. Bobby Miller against the Atlanta Braves goes 7 innings. The first 7-inning start of his career, and he gives up just 1.
Heritage Night at Dodger Stadium. That's on September 20th versus the Detroit Tigers. To purchase tickets, visit Dodgers.com/ticketpacks.
Best start of Bobby Miller's young career against the top offense in baseball. 3 hits over 7 innings, just 1 run.
He's outstanding, and I like the fact that he did not have to change his mix. He came in believing in his fastball, and that's what really carried him. Atlanta never really caught up to him. He didn't really have to change strategy, and it showed how dominant his stuff was.
Miguel Rojas has the big hit in this game. RBI double in the 5th. Faces Ben Heller, 32-year-old who's back and forth between the big leagues and the minors with the Yankees for several years. Hadn't pitched in the majors since 2020 before the Braves got him from the Rays this summer. And now his 17th game for Atlanta. Double extended his on-base streak to 10 games, above 300 in that time. Here's a chopper to third for Riley. And the first out of the 7th. So here comes Betts. Well, hitless in back-to-back games for the first time in a month and a half, and has followed that with another multi-hit game. He's got his 3rd hit of the day.
The swing's the same. The approach a little different. He is waiting for strikes and then attacking, and he's getting some strikes here, and he's putting the barrel on it. Finds a hole. The harder you hit them, the more holes you find.
So 1 on for Freeman. Fouls off the first pitch. So Mookie Betts has been an all-star year after year after year, but has taken it to another level this season. How did he do it? How did this happen? And he actually points back to a couple conversations where this whole thing started. It's an 0-1 to Freddie Freeman. And a bouncing ball to second. Goes the second one on to first. Not in time. The inning continues, and so does the story. We've talked about how much J.D. Martinez has meant to Mookie Betts, and he pointed to a couple conversations with J.D. The first one that he had with J.D. that led to this MVP caliber season came right after Martinez signed with the Dodgers. They hopped on the phone, and J.D. said, "I'm coming there, and you're going to win MVP." And he's like, "All right, I love it. Love the sound of that." He said, No. Let me hear you say it. I'm going to win MVP." And Mookie, humored him. "Okay, I'm going to win MVP." And J.D. said, "All right, good. To do that, we are going to grind every single day." And Mookie said, "Yeah, of course we are." J.D. said, "No. You're not like Freddie, where you can just roll out of bed and hit. Do you remember how hard we worked every single day in 2018? And Mookie thought about it, and he said, "You know what? I guess maybe after 18 I did rely on feel and leaning towards trust yourself too much, and it kind of faded away from that really hard, diligent, pointed work." And that's not to say he wasn't working hard, because we know the guy puts in as many hours as anybody. But J.D. said, let's not forget what made you the MVP in 2018. I'm coming there, and we are going to work and work and work the same routine every single day. That's a little outside. Up to second goes Freeman. And so from the moment J.D. Martinez arrived, these guys have had this routine together to get ready for their hitting. Every single swing throughout the day has a purpose. And so when Mookie gets to the game, he's no longer searching for anything. It used to be he was looking for a feel, hoping that he had it on a given night, because he's so athletic, he often would. But he said there's none of that anymore. He doesn't wonder if he's going to have the feel. He's put the work in. He trusts that he will. And then he goes out and he has simple thoughts and has fun. 1-2 to Will Smith. Lifted to left center field. Rosario's there. And that'll do it for the Dodgers in the 7th. On to the 8th we go. They lead it 2-1.
19th for Dia de los Dodgers, presented by Hornitos. Purchase a special ticket pack to receive an exclusive jersey. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/ticketpacks.
Shelby Miller on to pitch this 8th inning. He's looked good in his first couple games back from the injured list.
He really has, and I hope this bullpen continues to shut down the Atlanta Braves. They've had an outstanding homestand. I'd love to see Bobby Miller get another victory after pitching so well today and feeling really good going into his workouts, his side work, and then into his next start.
Better and better as this season has gone on, this bullpen. And for Miller last night, a 1-2-3 inning on 11 pitches against key hitters for the Braves. It's going to be the bottom of the order here. d'Arnaud, Arcia, and Harris in a 2-1 game. d'Arnaud 0 for 2, flied out twice against Bobby Miller, and he takes ball 1.
Really important for the bullpen to stay intact, to continue to be hot, and to get into October with that feeling, because when you look at the Dodger rotation, there's not a lot of guys that are going to go 6 or 7 innings. And so there are going to be 3 and 4 pieces a night in the playoffs that the bullpen is going to have to fire on all cylinders. And they are going to be really in the heat of the action when it comes to wins and losses in October.
Right at Rojas. 1 away.
You could even foresee a bullpen game in the playoffs with the Dodgers.
And some hybrid games too, right? Where you may have a couple starters taking it down together.
Piggybacking, you just never know. And depends on the score in the series, depends on where the off day lands, it depends on if they're going on the road or are they coming home. But very flexible. But you want to have a lot of choices, a lot of good choices. And a guy like Shelby Miller will really help that roster.
In a perfect world, you got 4 starters and you run them out there traditionally and they go 7 innings and you get a setup man and a closer to finish up those games.
That ain't happening anymore.
No. And that's not just a Dodger problem. That's across baseball. There's a pop-up right side. Mookie Betts to get Arcia.
Well, you can see the configuration of rosters now are really leaning into the fact that the 12th and 13th pitcher on a staff are more valuable than a pinch runner or a defensive replacement or a right-handed bat off the bench. And so if that's the way the regular season is going, when you configure your roster and value those positions, that's the way it has graduated into the playoffs.
Michael Harris, tying run at the plate, 2 out, ball 1. And specifically looking at the pitching side of that, what you're saying, the philosophy shift is that a fresh arm coming out of the bullpen is better than a tiring arm and additional time.
Yeah, it originated with, we're not going to let the starting pitcher go a third time through the order unless they're elite. It has graduated to the matchups, and then it's even gone another level of matching up, like with 2 outs, let a guy finish an inning.
That's into right center field for Harris, who can really run. He's on his way to second. Outman grabs it. Harris settles into second with a 2-out double, and the tying run is in scoring position for Ronald Acuna Jr.
Good to see this speed running the bases with 2 outs, because then they're not going to risk going to third base. They're going to get into scoring position easily and stand there for this gentleman,
who is 0 for 3 today. 5 hits over the first 2 games, 1 for 8 the last 2 days. That 1 hit, that screamer of a home run. Tying run at second, 2 gone, 8th inning. Miller throws. Strike 1, splitting the plate against Acuna.
I'll throw it here. You figure out how to hit it.
One 1.
Fastball's pretty straight. The changeup's the pitch with the action.
Same spot, ball 2. Ozzie Albies on deck. On a 2-1, Acuna takes a fastball by the hands. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Bobby Miller in his last at bat got him to pop up for the outstanding outplay by Jason Hayward. That was on a fastball away.
Fly to center field, and no big deal for James Outman. Shelby Miller with another scoreless inning of relief. Good game it's been. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2-1. Dodgers in front. Shelby Miller pitches around the 2-out double by retiring Ronald Acuna. Ben Heller stays on, and Kike Hernandez is up there for his first at bat today. Replaced Max Muncy, who left after a swing left him wincing. And we'll see what the injury is in the postgame. Hernandez, who's 1 for his last 18, is behind 0-2. Colton Wong in the on-deck circle.
Kike regrouping a little bit.
Tapper, Heller, wide throw, safe.
Usually you find a snow cone when you're catching a fly ball or a line drive. This one on a little dribbler doesn't go deep into his glove. He almost snow cones it at the end, and he has trouble getting a grip on it. And that's why I think he throws it wide. This ball goes in his glove, and there's a lot of white, and he's like, where is it? Where is it? And I don't think he has the right grip. And when you feel like that ball's loose in your hand, you change your grip pressure and squeeze it. You'll pull it like that.
E1, leadoff man aboard. For the 5th time in the last 6 innings. Colton Wong to pinch hit for Rosario. Who had a pinch hit double his lone time up today. And so now it's Wong. Up the middle he goes. A short hop pick right there and a double play. Wow, what a play by Orlando Arcia.
Does he try to make this ball bounce on purpose? Does he ease up on it to say, I can get a double play if I let it bounce? I think he does, because he could have continued running through that ball and caught it in the air. But he eased up enough to take that one hop. And boy, did he make a nice play. You know Wash is appreciating that.
Yeah. Yeah, you often see these Braves infielders get a lot better. And Ron Washington is the godfather of infield improvement, daily work. Those drills you see Freddie Freeman do each day with Dino Ebel, that all started working with Ron Washington. 2 gone in the 8th. Hayward sharply hit him through. Second hit for Hayward.
They have been feeding him off-speed pitches after off-speed pitches, taking the sting out of his bat. Well, he sat back and waited for the off-speed pitch there and timed it perfectly.
Inning kept alive for Taylor. Took away for ball 1. Brusdar Graterol, after Evan Phillips went more than an inning yesterday, is going to get a chance to close this game. They'll face Albies, Riley, and Olson. So if you get clear of Acuna in the 8th, all you got to do is Albies, Riley, Olson. All-star, all-star, all-star. If one of them reaches, Ozuna's not an all-star, but he's got 32 home runs. Ball 2 on Taylor. Strike 2. Wild pitch. Hayward to second.
That's the second one of those that we've seen from Heller, and then the throw away at first. Those are interesting at this level.
Same miss pattern to home and first, though.
Yeah. He can pull it with the best of them.
3-2. Taylor takes ball 4. Well, some potential insurance out there that would feel like one nice cleansing breath if they could get it. 2 walks and a run scored for Outman today. Bouncing ball through into center field. Hayward in to score. Outman drives home some insurance. Exhale. 3-1.
The thing the Dodgers have been missing in this series is hitting with runners in scoring position. James Outman does not wait around. First pitch, fastball, sinker away, hit it right back up the middle. Hard enough to get by the pitcher, soft enough to score the run.
Shortstop, number 11, Miguel Rojas.
Now it's Rojas. Strike one from Heller. Broke the scoreless tie with a double off the top of the wall in the 5th. Fouls it off. 1-2. Final of 7 games between these teams during the regular season. And we'll see if this collision course stays how it looks. They've met in the championship series 2020, 2021. Dodgers went through the Braves in 20 to win the World Championship. Braves did the same to the Dodgers in 21 to win a World Series of their own. Deuce is wild. 2-2. Punched by the bag, foul. Does look like at this point the Braves are going to get the top seed. They lead by 7 games over the Dodgers for that. That would give them home field advantage throughout the National League playoffs. It also would line them up with the Phillies for the division series. Pop fly right side. Olsen shades his eyes. He's got it located and ends the inning. On to the 9th we go. Dodgers get a big insurance run because 2, 3, and 4 are coming up. Play of the game brought to you by your Southern California Volkswagen dealers. Rojas broke the scoreless tie with his RBI double in the 5th. He would come in to score on a Mookie Betts base hit in that inning. And Dodgers had one in the 8th, 3-1. On to the 9th, and it's Brusdar Graterol looking for the save.
You know, you think you're bringing in second fiddle, but you're really not. He's only second fiddle to Josh Hader in the National League as far as earned run average for relief pitchers. That 1.4 is right there. And so he is having an outstanding year. And it's really not about the strikeouts. You see the 42 strikeouts in 57 innings. That's not Hader-like, but what he gets is so much weak contact, and he is very efficient now with getting people out early in the count.
Worked the 1, 2, 3, 7th inning last night and looks for his 7th save of the year here. Albies, Riley, and Olsen coming up. Graterol's first pitch is swung on and missed. Home run totals for those 3 guys coming up here: 28, 32, 44. That's why that 2-out base hit from James Outman was so huge in the 8th. Ball and a strike. And the Braves have not scored a run in a way other than with a home run since the 8th inning on Friday. The 9 of them in this series. Down the line foul, 1-2.
Brusdar has really become everything that the Dodgers has hoped for when they acquired him. You know, it was all about the big arm and could they keep him healthy.
Somehow Albie stays alive.
Then it was about, you know, refining his mechanics to get him consistently in the strike zone, and then it was developing the slider, getting something that he could find some swing and miss with, then adding some life to his fastball, and then adding the cutter. And it's the whole package now. He's come a real long way since putting on that Dodger uniform.
Still just 25 years old. Albies with a good take to work the count full. A leadoff walk.
That is not him.
And now Riley, who's got more home runs than anybody in baseball since the break, is the tying run. Ball one. Yeah, the leadoff walk to Ozzie Albies, only the second walk issued period over the last month for Brusdar Graterol. Not close.
His innings are usually very efficient and with command. He's getting a little pep talk from his shortstop. That portion of it will be in Spanish.
Yeah, Albies 1-2. He's missed with 5 pitches in a row since. Dangerous one here on the inside corner, strike one.
Much better delivery right there. That front shoulder, his stayed steady, and he just lifted his leg with his lower body, not dipping that front shoulder.
Roller left side. Hernandez to second one. Betts will turn it to first for a double play.
Well, Will Smith and Miguel Rojas could become pitching coaches someday. That was a good visit.
Yeah.
You can't take that visit to arbitration, but it can get you a lot closer to a W here today on this beautiful Sunday at Dodger Stadium, trying to send these people home happy.
Strike one on Olson, whose home run is accounted for the Braves scoring. He tries to keep it alive for Ozuna. Dodgers head off to Miami for a 3-game series beginning on Tuesday. Marlins on the verge of being part of a 4-way tie for the last 2 wild card spots. 2-1 on Olson.
Brusdar gets it done in a hurry, but he's also trying to be in a hurry between pitches here. So slow down. Don't let that get into your rhythm.
2-2.
Much better when he's a little bit deliberate.
Way up there to stay alive. Another 2-2. Into left center field. Outman on the run. Not going to get there. And Ozuna will have a chance. Matt Olson went 0 for his first 15 in this series. He is 2 for his last 2. And the Braves still have a heartbeat.
Big swing, not hit hard, but good placement. Curving away from James Outman. Landing softly in the outfield grass. Chris Taylor gets the bounce in. This will be interesting.
Marcell Ozuna, who's got 8 home runs in his last 12 games. 32 total this year. Power against power. Strike one as Olson takes second. Strike two.
2-strike hit kept the game alive. That's been kind of a pattern for Atlanta. And now they've got him to 2 strikes and 1 strike away again.
Graterol fires. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He got the flinch.
Boy, he is not waiting around. Graterol, home of the 1-2. That'll do it. Brusdar Graterol slams the door, gets the save, and the Dodgers avoid the sweep. 3-1 the final over the Braves.
Well, they get an off day with a happy flight now. And they do avoid the sweep and feel better about the rest of the season. They'll see these Braves again if they're going to go to the World Series.
Perfect Sunday afternoon here in Los Angeles. Perfect weather, perfect outcome. For Hershiser, David Vassegh, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Dodger Stadium. Bobby Miller's best start of his young big league career. 1 run over 7 innings against these Braves, and he is the winner. Access Sportsnet Dodgers is next. Talk to you again on Tuesday from Miami as the Dodgers begin the road trip.